The film begins with a beautiful teacher named Maggie, who is 40 years old. Unfortunately, time has passed her by, and she feels that she has missed her chance at marriage. Despite her beauty, her eyes are always filled with tears because she has always wanted to love and be loved, and to be in a relationship like other women. Because of this, she isolates herself, staying at home most of the time with no friends. When she goes out, she walks alone and avoids people. We learn that Maggie reached this state because of her former lover, who deceived her and cheated on her with her best friend. This deeply affected her, leading her to distance herself from love and its troubles, as she no longer trusts anyone after being betrayed. This also impacted her mental state, making her hate men and believe that all of them are unfaithful and dishonest. After that, we see her neighbor George, who loves her deeply and wishes to be in a relationship with her. He often flirts with her whenever he sees her, but Maggie keeps her distance because she does not want to get involved with anyone after what happened to her. In the next scene, we meet a failing student named Peter, who uses binoculars to watch beautiful girls walking in the street. We learn that Peter fails his final high school exams every year because of French literature, a subject he finds extremely difficult. This subject has become a major problem in his life, causing him frustration and a loss of hope. He no longer wants to continue his education. Unfortunately, Peter has fallen in with a group of bad friends, spending his nights partying and using drugs. His mother often gets angry at him because he comes home late at night drunk. She urges him to stay away from his friends and focus on his studies, especially since exams are approaching. She advises him to work harder so he can pass and get into university, which she dreams of for him, but Peter ignores her. Later, his father also becomes angry with him for neglecting his studies and wishes for him to join the police academy. The parents argue with each other, as each wants Peter to pursue a different path, forgetting to consider what he actually wants. Frustrated, Peter gets angry at them and leaves. The next morning, his mother tells him that they are going on a trip for a few days. Peter is very happy and wants to go with them, but his mother refuses and asks him to stay home and focus on studying. After they leave, Peter is alone at home, but he is secretly happy because he now has freedom. That night, he invites all his friends over, and they spend the night drinking and dancing until morning. This becomes his daily routine. In the following scene, Peter goes out with his girlfriend Sally, who truly loves him, always worries about him, and stands by his side. She hopes he will change himself, focus on his studies, and fulfill his parents' dreams, but Peter does not care about her words. The next day, Peter spends some time alone and begins to feel that his behavior will destroy his life. He decides to change and start thinking about his future and focusing on his studies. He searches online for a tutor specializing in French literature, the subject he keeps failing. He then finds an advertisement for Maggie, who offers private lessons in French literature at her home. Peter contacts her and schedules a meeting. The next day, Peter dresses well and goes to meet Maggie at her house. She welcomes him warmly and gets to know him. At first, Peter feels that she is strict, serious, and rarely smiles, as if she carries many worries. He considers leaving because he feels uncomfortable, but gradually he starts talking to her and tells her about his struggle with French literature, which has been ruining his life and causing him to fail every year. Maggie reassures him that if he commits to her lessons and follows her instructions, she will help him succeed and achieve high grades. They agree on the lesson fees and schedule. Before he leaves, she gives him a French literature book and asks him to read it and prepare a summary. Peter leaves, returns home, and begins working on the assignment she gave him. In the next scene, he meets his girlfriend Sally and tells her that he has started focusing on his studies and is taking private lessons in French literature. Sally becomes very happy that Peter has finally listened to her and started caring about his future. The next day, Peter went to his lesson with the teacher. She checked the homework she had assigned him and found that it contained some mistakes, but Maggie encouraged him. Then she began explaining the rules of French literature, speaking calmly so he could understand easily. Peter was very happy, and he started to understand, and even enjoy, the subject. He actively answered all her questions. Gradually, Peter became used to her and her beautiful teaching style. Over time, he grew to love both the subject and the teacher. He felt that Maggie was a kind woman who truly wanted to help him. When the lesson ended, he never wanted to leave because he enjoyed being with her so much. Maggie also grew used to him. If he was late for a lesson, she would worry about him. As Peter became closer to her, he learned what made her happy and what upset her. Maggie grew very close to him and began sharing her personal problems and details about her life. One day, Peter asked her why she was not married yet. She told him that she hated men because the man she had loved with all her heart had betrayed her with her closest friend. Peter replied that not all men are traitors, and that some men are truly loyal in love. Maggie felt that Peter was very mature and spoke in a way beyond his age. One day, while talking to her, Peter noticed that Maggie liked a certain type of flower. The next day, he brought her the same kind, which made her very happy. She appreciated his attention and the fact that he understood what she liked, so she began to grow even closer to him. Peter also told her about his parents and how each of them wanted him to join a different college without asking what he himself wanted. Maggie looked deeply into his eyes, and she began to feel tempted to tell him that she admired and loved him. However, she stopped herself at the last moment because he was younger than her and also her student, and such a relationship was not appropriate. The next day, Maggie's older sister visited her at home and invited her to her son's birthday party. Maggie accepted the invitation, and the following day she attended the party. There, her sister wanted her to meet a businessman related to her husband, hoping Maggie would start a relationship with him, knowing that Maggie was lonely and had struggled with relationships after her past experience. However, Maggie told her sister that she did not want to be with anyone after what had happened with her first lover. Her sister felt very sad for her and didn't know what to do, as she only wanted to see her happy like other women. In the next scene, Peter went to Maggie's house and found that her kitchen faucet was broken. He quickly fixed it for her, and Maggie was very happy and thanked him. That night, Peter's friends came over to his house to spend time together, and his girlfriend Sally was there too. She refused to leave him and stayed with him until morning. The next day, Peter was on his way to his lesson, while Maggie was watching him from the window because he was a little late. It started raining, and his shirt got soaked. When he arrived, she took his shirt and dried it. Peter noticed how much she cared for him and that she treated him more like a lover than a student. He felt very happy being with her and realized that he loved her, but he could not bring himself to confess his feelings because of the age difference between them. It became clear that they both loved each other, but each was afraid of the other. One day, Peter arrived early for his lesson and noticed that the door was open, so he entered without knocking. He accidentally saw Maggie while she was changing clothes, and he was struck by her beauty. When Maggie saw him, she felt very embarrassed, quickly closed the door, and then came back to continue the lesson. However, Peter could not focus, as he kept thinking about her beauty and tenderness. When the lesson ended, he didn't want to leave and kept making excuses to stay longer. When he returned home, he couldn't study because his mind was completely occupied with thoughts of her, and he stayed awake all night. The next day, Peter went to her house again, unable to control himself. He got very close to Maggie and confessed that he loved her deeply. Maggie was shocked because she was his teacher, but at the same time, she couldn't resist her own feelings. She admitted that she loved him too. After that, they started a relationship and spent beautiful moments together. When Peter returned home, he was overwhelmed with happiness and couldn't believe he had confessed his feelings. As days passed, they grew closer and spent most of their time together at her house. In the next scene, Sally noticed that Peter had stopped calling or talking to her. She felt that something had changed, so she started following him to find out what he was doing. Her suspicions turned out to be correct when she saw him leaving Maggie's house with messy clothes and marks on his face. Sally confronted him angrily and accused him of cheating. Peter confessed everything and promised it would never happen again. Sally believed him, and Peter began to distance himself from Maggie and stopped going to her lessons. Maggie became very worried about him and went to look for him. She saw him with Sally and became very angry, feeling hurt that he had left her for someone else. She grew to hate Sally and wanted to get rid of her in any way. Over time, Maggie became used to having a man in her life, so she started spending time with her neighbor and formed a relationship with him. In the next scene, Peter feels guilty because Maggie had loved him deeply, so he goes to her house. When Maggie sees him, she gets angry, throws him out, and breaks down in tears. The next day, Peter returns again and is surprised to see her neighbor leaving her house. He suspects something between them, but Maggie lies and tells him there is nothing. Later, Peter notices something that confirms they are in a relationship. He becomes furious and tells her she is a traitor who does not deserve his love. He leaves angrily, regretting that he had left Sally for her. He then returns to Sally and apologizes for what he did. Days pass, and Peter takes his exams and finally passes French literature. His parents are very happy and allow him to choose the college he wants. At that moment, Peter remembers Maggie, who played a major role in his success. He wants to go thank her, but he stops himself because he promised Sally he would stay away from her. One day, while walking in the street, Peter unexpectedly sees Maggie. Unable to control himself, he starts running after her, showing that he still loves her deeply and cannot forget her. And so, the film comes to an end. If you enjoyed the film, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell to stay updated with all our new content.